The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is All Things Elite. Welcome back to All Things Elite. Load up the pod, man, it's on when we speak. Rich right here, let me warm it up for Austin and Floyd. Couldn't be no one but the boys. When it come to All Things Elite from the fan perspective, swear, man, it ain't no question. Hear from them first. Swear, man, they putting in the work. No, they had to get me for the verse. Social Suplex Network's on. I was at a time in your headphones. Austin and Floyd on the microphone. Backing out on the ring, getting in the zone. Pulling up the show, give it 7 stars, you already know. Who else could it be but the show with the proclivity for positivity? I'm gone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 295th episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Sumwitz. I'm the host of this lovely show. Joining with me, as always, is my good buddy and friend, Mr. Floyd Johnson Jr. My man, how we doing?
I am doing great. There's not a lot of things better than a free trip. So my work's paying for me to go to New York this weekend. So I'm really looking forward to a free trip because I don't get very many of these, if ever. So it's like, hey, everything's basically paid for. Like the per diem for like how money to get for food is awesome. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have a good time, and it's like I literally only have to do one to work thing, and then the rest of the weekend is free time. So that's cool.
Oh hell yeah! Did you tell Sydney you were gonna be there?
I told Sydney I was gonna be there, but when I told her, and I don't know if she's gonna listen to this, she was stressed about school and stuff, so I didn't really want to add anything to her schedule, so I just kind of let her be.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would still bring it up too, because I mean,
I said it, and then it was kind of like she was good. She was like, it was a lot going on, so I was like, you know what? Not gonna try to stress my friend out. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got a lot to get into. I mean, I'm doing well. I'm glad. I know you did a little bit of a recap show since we missed a little bit of time. Floyd, you were able to kind of just give a little bit of a quick rundown of where we've been since we weren't able to right after the pay-per-view and everything.
Yeah, I was a little heartbroken that we didn't get to All Out. It was my work gotten away one night, and then let's be real, Florida State lost the next night. So
they didn't just lose.
Yeah, they got upset. So in maintaining the proclivity of positivity, I figured getting on here pissed off and talking about wrestling, I don't know if I would have kept the theme of this theme of the show. So I was like, you know what? Don't feel like doing this today.
Yeah, exactly. No, and again, I understood completely. After the game ended, I'm like, I'm not sure if Floyd's going to want to record after this. And you shot me the text, and I'm like, yep, that makes sense, honestly.
I was like, I'm going to bed. Now I went to sleep pissed. Like angry. I'm like, and everybody knows, like, I always tell the people my brain is broken. It's like the world's going to hell. Like, life is great. Blah, blah, blah. I ignore it all. My team loses. Fucking inconsolable, big-ass baby. I know.
At least Kansas City destroyed the extremely fraudulent Ravens.
It's so weird. Because I figured, if anything, Virginia might hang with us, but I thought we were going to blow them out. And then on the other hand, with Baltimore, I was like, man, we could play really good and still end up 1-3. We then Florida State plays in their worst game of the season and loses Virginia. Kansas City just mollywops Baltimore, and I'm like, yeah. So then someone gets on my page, it's like, Baltimore had all these injuries. I was like, okay. So I was like, well, I understand what you're saying, and I do believe injuries are a reason things happen. But when we lost the first 2 games of the season with our starting 2 wide receivers gone and our offense didn't look great, all I heard is how the dynasty was over. And no one's like, well, okay, their offense looked bad because people were out. They were like, the dynasty's over. And I was just like, I never lost faith. I was like, we get our players back, we're going to be better. We got Xavier Worthy back. One guy back.
Yes, he did.
One guy back, and our offense looked exceptionally better. And I'm like, I will take the A. If you're willing to give my team the reason, the excuse, whatever, that's why my team lost, I will return the favor. But you're not going to come up to me and be like, hey, your team lost, and then be like, well, that team was injured. Fuck it. It's the NFL. People get hurt. That's how it goes. Like,
yeah.
you still got to play the game. Okay? Shit.
Yeah, you do.
It's like, it's shit. I like it to be excuse. I would, but it's not. It's like, you don't get to make the excuse. No one buys it. So.
Unfortunately not. But you know what? Again, like I said with Floyd, though, I'm glad that we're able to be back. I know we weren't able to get our full thoughts out for All Out and everything like that. But you know what? It was.
Did you overall enjoy the show?
I did.
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I definitely thought that it was more so it was a little bit more low key than I thought it was going to be. Just overall, I think that they had some really good stuff. I loved the tag match with Cope and Christian. I thought that was so much fun, and the energy was there in Toronto for it. And the three-way was by far and away the best match of the week. Like, it was so good, and the teasing of Takeshita and Omega is just when I get that match finally, everything's just gonna fucking hit. It's gonna be so fucking good when we get that, honestly. So
I feel,
but yeah,
I feel as strongly about seeing the Okada and Takeshita match as I do FTR and
as you should.
Next FTR Cope and Cage match. It's just, I just think it's gonna be epic. You just like, Takeshita's in his absolute, pretty much the beginning of his prime, because I think he just turned 30, so he's at the beginning of his prime.
Yeah,
Okada's in the middle or towards the end of his prime. So Okada, being who he is, he got made by Tanahashi. He's probably going to want to make the next generation. So that's going to be his chance to do it, is to make them.
Yeah, and I think they're going to have a huge chance to do that, and it's going to be fucking amazing. So we're going to go ahead, though. We got a lot to get into with us getting into the 6th anniversary show for AEW Dynamite. We're also going to be talking about the top 6 matches that Floyd and myself have seen live at AEW Dynamite. But before we get into everything...
I just wanted to say this, just throw this, we'll talk about it later, but the specific reason I said the 6 matches we've seen live, because if we do the top 6 matches of Dynamite, largely the 6 are going to be the same.
Probably. I would think so. Maybe a couple different, but yes, for the most part, yeah. And the thing is, a lot of the thing with me that you'll find out a lot of the times is if I'm at a show, a lot of times the match is going to be better because I was there.
Yes, and most importantly, we haven't been to a lot of Dynamites together. So our list is going to be pretty different because we haven't went to a lot of those shows together. A lot of things that are on your list are not going to be on mine, and vice versa.
Oh, trust me, my list was a little bit more tight to make just because of the fact that I've went to less shows. I'm sure it was harder for you, considering all the Dynamites you've gone to.
The top 3 were not hard, but that last 3, I had to go through shows and remember what I saw. The top 3 was boom, boom, boom. This is what it is. But yeah, the other ones I had to go look up match cards and see what I saw at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we got a lot to get into, guys. But before we get into everything, guys, we want to make sure you guys are downloading this fine show on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to us on. Give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish. Rate, review, subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at ATElitePod. You can also follow at Social Suplex, who make this show possible. Check out all the other shows that they have on their network. I'm at Austin Sumowitz, SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. Go to Chop Tees and make sure you guys get a t-shirt. Sign up for the Social Suplex newsletter. Links are in the description of the show. So getting into the news of the week, Floyd, did you want to go ahead and break that down for us?
No, remember the news of the thing about the news of the week, it happened during Dynamite. So if we talk about the news of the week, it'll probably ruin the segment on Dynamite. But it happened really early in Dynamite, so
yeah, it was first segment.
So we're about to get to it in just a second. The news of the week.
So we're gonna get into the news of the week we get into the opening segment of Dynamite, where first thing we had was that the Young Bucks were at the Hard Rock Casino, because that's where they were in Hollywood, Florida. You know, the Guitar Hotel building. So they were getting ready for their entrance and everything like that. Matt was going to make plans for this huge entrance they were going to do. Nick had a case of what I can only describe is my dad's syndrome, where he goes inside to gamble with the remaining bag of money they have in the duffel bag of AEW, and did not go well. He lost the money, and Matt told Nick he needed to pay for the production value, but he had an empty bag there. And then they had the live shot of them currently already in the ring with a jobber entrance, and they were labeled as the Broke Bucks for the opening match, where the Young Bucks teamed up with Josh Alexander to face off against Kenny Omega and the AEW World Tag Team Champions Bro Dito. Considering that this was the first match of the 6th anniversary of Dynamite, this makes so much sense for this being the opening match on the show, because it's one of the matches that like basically defined what AEW has been for the last 6 years. Just fast-paced, high-action, crazy athletic wrestling with some of the most talented guys that you have from across the world. I will never get over Kenny Omega and Bandito doing the Macarena while fucking Brodito just runs through the center and clotheslines the fuck out of the Young Bucks.
Yeah, I keep doing what you just did. I keep calling Brody Brodito instead of Brody. I keep doing that because of Brodito. It starts with Brody. So whenever I'm like, oh, Brodito did this, I mean Brody. And I keep doing that. So I get it.
No, exactly. But honestly, though, it was such a fun match. It was just one of the things that just like you watch it and it continues to just make everything feel like what AEW is and everything like that. Like it's just one of those matches where you throw it on and it's a perfect explanation of like what AEW is in essence. Just so much fun shit. And in the end, the match comes down to the finish where we have, we get into this and Kenny Omega hits the one-winged angel on Josh Alexander, gets the victory. And then that's when Omega's in the middle of the ring with just Matt and Nick. And he gets blindsided by Alexander. The Bucks are like kind of conflicted and they're not really joining in on this beatdown. And then Jurassic Express makes their return onto Dynamite for their first appearance on the show in a very long time. And then they come out through the crowd and Jack Perry just proceeds to double DDT the Young Bucks. And then just like that, Luchasaurus then comes down, double choke slams the Bucks. Josh Alexander tries to jump at Jack Perry, but he ends up getting hit with a knee. And then eventually Kenny gets into their face, and they're screaming at each other and getting into a shoving match because obviously Kenny Omega is just like, I don't care if you got the song back, you're still a shithead. And before that happens, though, Kenny then proceeds to push Kenny out of the way and then dive out to the outside onto the Bucks, chasing them to the back. And that's when Kenny gets on the mic talking about the 6 years and how he's been there since day one, seeing the highest of the highs and the lowest of lows. But, you know, it's about the journey, man. And then he gives appreciation to the fans who've been there from the beginning and fans who have maybe just found them because, you know what? It's all about the journey again. And he shouted out the friends they made as well as the ones that they've lost, giving a nice little tribute there to Brody and Jay Briscoe. And that's when Kenny said it's better because they experienced it together and he's a better person for that. He said goodbye and good night, bang. Lights go out. Man in a mask. And I immediately saw that. And I'm like, fucking Andrade? What? And then he takes the mask off. And it's Andrade El Idolo. He's back. He attacks Kenny Omega. And he aligns himself with the Don Callis family, which is reaching NWO Wolfpack levels of like so many people in the group. It's insane. Holy shit. Like here's a return that literally nobody saw coming. This thing was held hidden for like no one knew. no one had, I mean, people thought like, well, now that Andrade's out of WWE, now he can come back to AEW if he wants, but no one knew it was happening tonight. No one had any inkling that this was happening, and it was such a genuine surprise. So that's our news of the week. Fucking Andrade's back, and he's looking like he's trying to feud with Kenny Omega.
All right. So starting with the match, I thought that match was, if you want to say vintage AEW, if you want to be like, why is AEW, what is AEW different? How is AEW different from any other wrestling company? You put on that 6-man match. Their 6-man matches have so much action. They tell a conductive story between each three, the three people. They do moves together, even if it comes down to the Macarena. It was just really fun. A lot of action. Great. Then Andrade came back. And
yes,
I don't know if I've ever talked on the show about how I felt about this, but I will say this. Rumors, innuendo, whatever. I am willing to open this up, since he's back, willing to open it up with a clean slate. Like, I got in a group and we were talking about, did I want him back? And I was like, dude, understand, when you leave my team, whether it's the Chiefs or whatever, I'm like, screw you forever. You know, that kind of thing. Like, you left me. So when they were asking, did I want Andrade back? I was like, no. But he came back. He looks good. Now, I will say this. We heard some backstage stuff. We heard all that stuff. Again, I'm very consistent on how really that's not our business. What I worry about is what I see on my TV. But thinking about what I heard about, the fights or whatever and the disagreements, if he comes in with a new attitude, and he's ready part of the team, whether it's Don Callis' family or whatever, and put on a good show, there's no better person for him to be in. Don Callis is the AEW version of Paul Heyman. Andrade has a great look. He has a great match. He has great presence. The one thing he doesn't do is cut promos. So if you're going to talk about a person that is a great compliment to the one thing he's weak at, it is Don Callis. And it's just like, so I am very excited for him to be back. It's funny because I'm like watching online, and I don't defend either side. Someone's like, Triple H fumbled. I'm like, that's incorrect. The only time Andrade has ever felt like a star was when his, like, a real legit star was doing his NXT run. And don't forget who the booker of NXT was at that time. It was Triple H. Triple H knew how to present him. I'm not defending it. And I think Tony has a good idea how to present him. But I think this Don Callis thing is the best thing that could happen for him. Because, again, that's pretty much his one flaw. I'm like, as far as in-ring presentation, what I see as a fan. Now, the backstage shit, hopefully that's taken care of now. From what I understand, how, all the reports of why he left WWE, it doesn't feel like he'll be bouncing back to WWE. So with this feeling like maybe his last option, maybe we can get it together and get him, because he's super talented. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, God, yeah. No,
he's super talented. I'm not taking anything away from that. But it's just felt like, it feels like the AEW, as far as online, you don't hear any backstage stuff anymore.
No,
like no one's getting the fights and stuff. You heard the Hurt Syndicate stuff, but that's just professional wrestling. So I just wanted to stay the peaceful area that it is. Andrade and the Don Callis family, like I said, perfect casting for him, perfect spot for him to be. So I am wishing him the best in AEW. You on my team now. I didn't sign you, but you're on the team, so I'm rooting for you.
There you go. So yeah, I'm excited to see like the work that he does. I know that there's a lot of that backstage shit, but at this point, I don't care. Like at this point right now, I'm just kind of like, all right, well, let's see what this goes with. Him being added to the Don Callis family to me is intriguing, because now like I said, it's kind of nuts the amount of like people that Don Callis now has aligned himself with and has in his family. Like you see the size of the group, and it's fucking massive. Like the people that he's got in there. So I'm genuinely interested to see how you're going to try to spread out the group to be able to get their time, you know what I mean? To get their TV time. And if people are going to start like, you know, maybe feeling like, all right, can we get Don Callis off my TV, please? I'm sick of seeing this dude everywhere. I'm interested to see because this is now, I'm pretty sure this is now to date the biggest faction that AEW has ever had. Like there's so many people in this fucking group. I think it is bar none the biggest faction that AEW has ever had.
Dude, it's twice the size the biggest faction of AEW's ever had.
Yes.
If you think about it, I think the Death Riders is probably the biggest, you know, with, if you think Mox, Gabe Kidd, Pac, Claudio, Dan Garcia, Yuta, Marina. That's 7.
Yes.
I think we're at like 14 with at least 12 with the Don Callis family. Hell, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, it is hard to keep up, genuinely. But so I'm interested to see where we go from here. It's going to be fun to see how this whole thing kind of shakes out. But yeah, it's been an interesting time with Andrade being back, but we'll see how everything shakes out going forward. There was a nice little video package after this where they showed 6 years of AEW Dynamite and showed a good bit of the history of AEW through Dynamite and everything like that. Mark Briscoe then had a backstage segment where he reflected on his time in AEW, and he said he was obsessed with MJF, and at All Out he handled that. And now for MJF to how he did everything and said everything about his brother, but he couldn't win the big one. And it was his fault that he wasn't fighting Kyle Fletcher for the TNT Championship. And then Hologram got hurt. So now Orange Cassidy is getting his chance. And he's like, when OC wins, Briscoe will be right there to celebrate. And he said, MJF, you'll be on your couch licking your wounds and picking the tacks out of your ass. Happy anniversary. To which we move right in to the TNT Championship match between the Protostar Kyle Fletcher and Orange Cassidy. And this is pretty good. Like, I don't think it was anything like insanely good, but I feel like these guys worked off pretty well. But even still, like, Orange Cassidy's a huge star and everything like that, but you would think that there'd be a little bit more reasonable doubt that maybe Orange Cassidy could come in and like upset Kyle Fletcher in this spot. But it was just like, maybe it's just because of the fact that it's his first major match back on Dynamite. But yeah, I was kind of like, I don't know. I felt like I was like more so like I was enjoying it, but I wasn't locked in as much as I supposedly wanted to. There were some really good spots in there though, because there was a good moment where I think Fletcher is trying to go for the Brain Buster, and then he rolls it up to a small package, which is a good counter that I liked. I enjoyed that. And I do enjoy Orange Cassidy a lot, and I'm glad that he's back. But I would have thought there would have been more instances of... I feel like Orange Cassidy is the type of guy that could really get under Fletcher's skin and he could sell it more. I wanted more instances of, like, Orange Cassidy being a dickhead and just, like, not giving a shit, and then Fletcher getting mad about it. Like, to me, that would be... I feel like that would be really enjoyable. Maybe that skews a little bit too much into comedy, but that was just the thing that I thought of. It was a good match. But in the end, though, Don Callis gets on the apron, distracts the referee. Hologram shows up, even though they just said he was injured, and then he turns on Orange Cassidy, dropping him off the top rope, and they're like, what the hell's going on? Fletcher is able to hit the Brain Buster to defend his TNT Championship, and then we did find out that El Clone is the one that was actively there. So they've been teasing it on Collision for weeks about this person that's sending the threats with the red lights and everything. And so it's the evil clone of Hologram, and he's aligned himself as well with the Don Callis family. Is it fair for me? I know we're big on positivity and the proclivity for positivity. Is it fair for me to say that, like, listen, I like Hologram, I like his move set. I think he's very talented. I think the look he has is pretty solid. I don't care too much about his character, so why would I care about an evil clone version of it?
Okay.
To me, I'm not like maybe this is just me. Maybe people were really hyped about this, but like
No, I don't think so.
I could not care less about this.
I want to be very clear with this. You was talking about the Orange Cassidy match, and I was going to say this. You know what they did? They put Orange Cassidy in the same position a hologram would have been in.
Yes.
And they did the exact same ending.
Yeah. Because hologram was supposed to be in that spot.
Yes, that was supposed to be him screwing a hologram, a clone screwing over a hologram. It was just like they did the exact same match. And this is where pivoting comes in.
Yes.
Right? I when the match started, OC coming back, he's hot, he's this big star. All I could think is this match is going to end in a draw. I'm watching the match like this is going to go to full 20 minutes, and they'll probably run this back at WrestleDream. I was like, that would be to me the correct presentation of Orange Cassidy. Again, I've heard this. Don't offer critiques, offer some solutions. Well, at this point, when Hologram got hurt, right, El Clone's character doesn't really make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, this is what I would have done. I would have done the draw in that way, right? Then I would have just had like the El Clone coming out as hologram week after week. And everybody's like, it doesn't quite seem like hologram, right? And then do the big reveal after hologram is healthy that this wasn't hologram the whole time. It was El Clone, or something like that. Because right now, El Clone has the clone of an injured wrestler. Makes no sense. Storytelling-wise. What are you going to do with him? Because, like, Kane debuting only made sense because of The Undertaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fake Undertaker versus the real Undertaker. Sting versus the fake Sting. They only make sense if the original character is there. So, El Clone would have been playing hologram until hologram got back. That's would have been my fix for this. And then you do the big reveal that this wasn't hologram the whole time or whatever. Even though most people would know based on tattoos, body size, blah, blah, blah. Like, when he came out, I was like, that's not hologram. And it's like, oh, it's El Clone. So, I don't know. And then El Clone joins the Don Callis family, which at this point, with the Don Callis family, it pops me every time they add a new member because it's a comically large group.
It's ridiculous. I said, it's NWO Wolfpack levels of big.
Yeah, it's NWO plus the Wolfpack. Like, you would have to add black and white and red and black together to get
because it does not enough. It's not enough just to have the one side.
Yes, and then, so I post on ATE, you could literally do a show called Don Callis versus AEW. Don Callis family versus AEW.
At this point,
and it would be a banger fucking show because they have top guys, they have mid-carders, they have lower guys. You could literally fill out the
teams, everything.
Tag teams, trios. You could literally fill out a whole card with just the Don Callis family. And again, if you look at everybody that he has, they're all people that are not known for cutting great promos. Now, some of them are good promos on their own, but they don't cut great promos. So they're all where they're supposed to be. That's what it used to be back in the day when you had the Bobby Heenan family and all that. It was like he had a whole bunch of people under his group that couldn't cut promos. So I thought that was really cool that they're doing it this way. It's a little old school with a new school twist. I want to see where this is going for. Because if you think about it, right, I remember last year when we kind of thought Shane McMahon was going to be the member of the Death Riders and he was going to have his group of people, right? They have basically done that, but with Don Callis as the leader.
Correct.
This is his faction. This is his group. This is taking over AEW. Now, this is just a personal request. And I know this might not happen, but I think they could do it a perfect way where the Don Callis family ends up having every belt in AEW. It would be so cool if that happened.
Oh, God,
and then
dude.
AEW has to gather together to, come get the power out of Don Callis' hands.
Oh yeah, no, I think that could be a fun experience though. But yes, it's so fucking funny how huge that group has gotten. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was like, first of all, I was like, oh, it's too many people. But now it's gotten so comically large. I'm like, add more people. Like
all
that's
of them.
and like between Don Callis family and the Blackpool Combat Club, that is 20 people in 2 factions.
It's crazy, man.
That
It's
is nuts. That is nuts. Yes.
Exactly. But all right, we'll move now into Mercedes Moné, who had a backstage segment where she was talking about she's trying to be 10 belts Moné, and she wants to celebrate herself. And next week on Dynamite title Tuesday in Jacksonville, she's going to put her TBS championship on the line against somebody from Florida because she wants to wrestle somebody local. And then Renee brought up with Mercedes about the women's tag team championships that got announced last week, which, fuck yeah, I'm so glad those got announced. And she's like, would anybody be her tag team champion and partner? Who would it be? Minnie Monet makes her return, and right next to her is Harley Cameron. And Monet was like, why are you here? Why are you seeming to be friends with everybody? And then she's like, I think we'd have chemistry together. And then Mercedes like, no, we would not. And then basically said, when they team up, it's Harley who would cause them to lose. So no. And then Harley proceeds to say through Puppet Monet, I think she's playing it hard to get. If we could get Harley and Mercedes to team up, like that to me, like literally you're taking Sydney, like one of Sydney's favorite wrestlers and one of my favorite wrestlers, and you're teaming them up. So like I need Mercedes and Harley to go after the tag titles at some point. Like it needs to happen. So keep this going. I need to see this. This is this kind of odd couple shit that I love.
Yes, I do love it. We did a little poll on our show that was supposed to be on like the last show that we didn't do, but the overwhelming idea is that people think TJ should be the first women's tag team champions. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Harley and Mercedes would be a fun team. Absolutely. I was just looking through. I am very excited about the women's tag team championship coming up. And like I said, I just, execution is what it's about, at finding the right times to put it on the show. But yeah, anytime, again, and I'm going to say this again, I'm going to say this all the time because I think she deserves her flowers and to continue getting it. Just on this show, proven, there is not a person in AEW that maximizes their time like Harley Cameron.
Every time, dude. Every time.
Hits it out of the park every time. She's on the screen 15 seconds. She's on the screen 3 minutes. She's in a match. She's in whatever. Every time you come out of that 2 hours and you remember what Harley Cameron did.
You do.
How valuable is that to have on your TV program? How valuable is that? To Collision, whatever you want. You're like, oh, I got this period of time and I need to make it good. Call Harley. And it's like, is Harley Cameron my favorite wrestler? No. But, hey, respect has to be paid when someone is doing something that is remarkable. And I'm like, I know she's not putting on 5-star matches or anything like that. But look at how valuable her seconds, minutes, and whatever are to whatever segment she's on as far as keeping it going, keeping some parts light when it needs to be light. Whenever she's turned on, whenever someone like really goes at her, they are going to be the biggest heel, most evil person in the world because how did you pick on Harley?
I know. It'll be such a good moment when that happens. I'm so heavily excited for that, man. I'm so heavily excited for that. We'll move right into the trios match. Hangman Adam Page and Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs facing off against the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Daniel Garcia. This was physical, good, fun action. I like the having Daniel Garcia being able to work off against Powerhouse Hobbs. I love that matchup because he tries to square up to him and then he just gets thrown immediately. I love that. Garcia was basically the bump monkey because he got thrown around, I felt like, a ton in this match. And then I thought Claudio got some really damn good stuff in this as well. I thought this match was really physical, and you can see the little bit of like between Samoa Joe and Hangman Adam Page early on, basically. But eventually, though, he hits the buckshot lariat on Claudio Castagnoli, and there's an argument, though, basically, that broke out between Joe and Hangman. Joe was not standing back. Hobbs was trying to play peacekeeper. Didn't really work. And he because when Hangman gave the trios titles to Joe, he kind of dropped it, and that's when the argument started happening. And then eventually security comes out, Joe starts screaming at him and all that kind of stuff, and they get into a brawl. Joe screaming how he never has beaten Joe, and they try to get through each other, and like this brawl got me really fucking excited. I was so hyped for this little moment right here, because I was like, bro, like this is a like when Sydney was texting me during this, she was like, yeah, they'll probably announce it for next week. I'm like, all right, next week, Joe Hangman should be a fucking pay-per-view match. And they called that, and I called that right down the fucking middle, because then Hangman challenged Samoa Joe for WrestleDream later on in the show, basically being like, listen, I don't know if it was their belt exchange or whatever bothered Joe to remind me that I've never beaten him. You know what? You know, part of the reason that the title, he has this title is because of Joe. So if he wants this title shot, he can have it at WrestleDream. And he's like, I look up to you and I respect you. You throw another fit like that at me again, I'll ruin your life, which is amazing. And that's when Samoa Joe been like, I am a man you've never beaten in the ring. I am Samoa Joe, and on any day you have existed, you have never been greater than me. And he's like, yeah, this right here, this is cowboy shit. And unfortunately, you're standing in front of Samoa Joe, and let me welcome you to another world, a deep shit. So Hangman Adam Page versus Samoa Joe for the World Championship at WrestleDream. Fucking sick. I'm so hyped for this. So the fact that this kind of just, it wasn't even really that necessary of like a moment to build it up. It was a very small moment that they then created into a big mountain out of a molehill with these guys getting beef against each other. And it just has me excited for the match itself, because I feel like that match could be one of the top matches of the year, because I think those guys against each other will put on a physical, really well-told story match that could be just so fucking good. Like, I'm so hyped for that.
All right. Well, the match was great. I dig it. But the thing I love the most, because everything I'd heard before on the shows that I listened to were calling for Samoa Joe to turn heel. And I was like, I don't like it. I don't think he needed to turn heel to challenge Hangman for the title.
No, I don't think so either.
And guess what? He didn't. And I fucking loved it. It's like Samoa Joe has a anyone can get it attitude ever. If anybody's going to play like this middle ground, just like, it wasn't that he really hated the Death Riders. He hated that the Death Riders always cheated. He hated that matches were never one-on-one. If Samoa Joe gets beat one-on-one, he can handle it. You know, if he beats you one-on-one, he can handle it. But he couldn't handle all the cheating. He just wanted, man on man, who's the best. Now, him and Hangman, hey, he dropped the belt. He took it disrespectful. They went at each other. But in the end, Hangman stood up like a man, said, I want to fight you. Samoa Joe's like, dude, I want to, in only the way Samoa Joe can. He says, I want to fight you. Like, again, Samoa Joe, another 5-star promo at the later part of the show. Hangman looks like a badass. We're in honor of Taylor Swift coming out just a few minutes ago or an hour ago. Honor of her coming out. We are in our badass champion era right now, where the champions aren't waiting for you to come to them. They are challenging you. They are fighting. Hangman, you didn't have to find Hangman. Hey, you want a title shot? I got you. Later on in the night, you get another one like this, where it's like, you don't have to find me. I am not hard to find. You want this? Come take it from me. Badass energy. Fucking loves it between these two. And I look forward to, I feel like every time AEW does a pay-per-view in St. Louis, which this will be the second one, guess who has to be in the main event? Mr. Samoa Joe. Let's go.
Let's fucking go. I'm all for Joe remaining to be in the main event, dude. It makes sense. He's a main event star. You should be in the main event in many instances. Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey were backstage with Will Nightingale talking about their interaction with FTR and Big Stoke from last week. And Nightingale basically said, hey, Knight, you make the first challenge. He called out either Cash or Dax to face him this week on Collision. Willow said that she had their back last week, so she'll have their back this week. And that's when Big Stoke and FTR basically said, no one on this planet do we hate more than Willow. Floyd, how do you feel about that? You must be caught in the middle with that shit.
Oh, dude. I gotta tell you. It is a little confusing for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're feeling different feelings right now.
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot of feelings because Stoke is my guy. I feel like in every way he is my real wrestling avatar. Like he is a representation of me on the screen until he said that. Because if anyone knows me, that is not how I feel about Willow Nightingale.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
But as I said, and I had to tell Jackie and she had to disagree, there's only one thing FTR proved at the last pay-per-view All Out. Anyone can get it. So
that is true.
Willow, you said you had a bad neck. I don't think this is the team. I don't think this is the team to bother if you say you have neck issues. Just saying.
It's not the greatest idea.
It's not the greatest idea. I don't want it to happen to you. But if it does happen to you, you kind of put yourself in the position. I'm just saying, you got on the train tracks. You know?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I mean, I'm just saying, FTR was there minding their own business. You know? You telling Dax he needs to apologize? He's going to apologize for dropping you on your head at some point. I'm just sorry. I don't want it to happen. I don't want it to happen. I got my tie-dye Willow shirt coming. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's my girl. Oh, I guess Blacksmith's about to release a Willow shirt, which I'm gonna buy. That doesn't stop. You getting FTR's way. I'm like, it's like when you see the sign on the backyard and it says "Beware of dog," and then you jump the fence and you get bit. Is it the dog's fault or is it your fault for ignoring the sign? Just ask.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? You know. So I'm just saying, FTR kind of set the warning out there that they'll drop you on your head, and you kind of jump the fence.
Sometimes beware of dog.
Yeah,
sometimes
beware of dog. Beware of dog.
We then had Timeless Tony Storm go up against Time Mello. It was a match. Like
it was certainly a match to happen. Yeah, now, I have one critique about the match. One critique, not about even in the match. So you're getting in this tag team division. I truly think TJ has to be a favorite going. They seem to be the fan favorites. Do you want Tay taking a loss on the show? It feels like anybody else could have felt this role except Tay.
Well, and also too, she tweeted about like challenging Tony right before Dynamite went on the air, like minutes before the show started.
Yeah,
like
so I'm glad the show match happened, but I'm just like, okay, you're gonna do it again. This is one of your teams you're gonna be looking forward to. You feel like you could at least have her like look really good in the match. No, she just kind of lost.
Mm-hmm.
And like if a jobber, like if somebody there brought some local star in versus Tony Storm, I'm not saying the matches ain't too much different.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pretty much it goes down the same way. So I just like, man, I would like to get Tay to get a little bit more offense in, you know, look a little better, but whatever.
And afterwards, she gets on the mic and basically said, when the bell rang at All Out, she did not hear victory. She did not hear defeat. She heard nothing. It was a silence that was so deep, it completely gobbled her up. Because she stared in, and I stared at her because in that moment, she wasn't everything I wasn't. She was everything I wasn't. She was a glorious champion regarding Chris Statlander. And Tony goes, who am I without the title? But she's not done with Chris Statlander because she needs to know one-on-one. You name the time, you name the place, and I'll be... And the crowd screams, timeless. And she drops the mic, and the lights lowered. And she's just kind of like, she's a little bit unsure of herself a little bit. Now, it was great when the crowd filled in the timeless bit on the promo. That was great. Can we not what timeless Tony Storm? Is that too hard to ask, Florida? I know it's Florida, but like, can we not what the former women's world champion?
Okay.
Seriously?
Okay, so this is what it's like. Sometimes fans get over enthusiastic and they need to be a part of everything. Because, let's be real. Let's be real on this situation. Tony Storm speaks perfect English.
Yes.
Tony Storm's not a heel. She didn't follow under any of the conditions to get whatted. I think what is passe in 2025. I think you're lame if you're screaming what in 2025. But, okay, I can accept it if it's, hey, she's a heel. Hey, you can't understand what she's saying. Maybe the mic is out or whatever. But you were just whatting the face of the women's division. And that's very annoying. It's like, I wasn't upset by any means. I was, you know what? I'm the parent. I was disappointed. AEW crowds are better than this. AEW crowds are better than what? You leave what for the other place, okay? You start whatting. If I'm there, I'm looking at you and I'm staring a hole through your soul. Because what is dumb now? It is dumb. Always been dumb, but it used to be fun. Because you were whatting with Stone Cold. Now you're in the AEW. It's like there's no reason to do it.
Right.
Like it's just like I said, I'm not mad. No reason to get mad. No reason to get angry. No reason to get pissy. I am disappointed in you, Hollywood. I thought y'all were a really good crowd into that.
Yeah, it was doing well. It was doing well up until that moment. But yeah, moving forward, we go into, quickly there was a match announced for Collision, Eddie Kingston versus Dralistico. So that was fun to hear that match was getting announced. And then we had GOA, Bishop Khan and Toa Leona versus The Swirl, Blake Christian and Lee Johnson.
I thought this was a very fun match. If it wasn't for the trios match at the beginning, I would have probably said this was my match of the night because it was like super actiony and physical.
Yeah, I liked seeing MVP and the Hurt Syndicate showing up basically afterwards. I like that moment where they challenged the demand. I like that, and how it's going to be a street fight next week, which is going to be freaking awesome. But gotta be honest, I kind of clocked out for this match because I just was like, you know what? Like, I like the demand. I'm enjoying seeing their stuff, but don't really got anything big with Blake Christian. Lee Johnson, I think, is really solid. But yeah, I thought there was good bits in this moment. I thought the moment where GOA was able to really show off their strength, I thought was really good. But it was kind of like a match that was like, it was going and then it was kind of wrapped up. But I don't know. I thought it was all right. I didn't like overly love it like you did, but I thought it was fine enough. But the match announcement of the match announcement of getting the demand versus the Hurt Syndicate in a street fight, that has me very excited for next week.
Critique on this match.
Yes.
It's in Jacksonville.
It is.
It's a fight.
Yes.
What kind of fight should it be?
It should be a parking lot street fight.
It should be a parking lot brawl. That's what you're known for in Jacksonville.
Come on,
Man, put the cars around and have those 6 men beat the shit out of each other in the parking
Maybe
lot.
they don't want. Maybe they don't want to end another career like they did fucking Chuck Taylor.
Dude, yeah, maybe not. I was like, dude. He said, I don't want to wrestle on a fight. I was like, I knew they were about to say parking lot brawl. I was waiting for them to say parking lot brawl. I was like, this seems perfect for these 6 people. No. It's a street fight. And again, they're going to kill it. Give me Leona and Bobby Lashley beating the shit out of each other every week for at least 10 minutes. You will never hear me complain. Right?
Oh, sure.
Don't get me wrong. I have critiques on it maybe being a little more even than it was, whatever. But it's a street fight. Dude, it's in Jacksonville. The parking lot brawl is the thing. So, no, I just thought that would have been cool. But whatever. I'm very excited about that match. I thought GOA, these are the type of matches they needed to be more consistent. We're trying to get the swirl over. How does Tony get people over that he likes? He makes them lose a lot. So there you go. They got their loss in. I did have to say this for JR, who probably won't listen to the show. I told me and JR are the real life version of the swirl. I'm a black guy named Johnson. He's a fair-skinned redhead guy. How are we not the swirl? I'm just saying. His name is Jesus. That's JR's real name, Jesus. Jesus is what? A Christian. Play Christian. Boom. We are the swirl. Okay? Like, argue with anyone else. Nah, he hates that name, so it was even fun. It even made more fun to make it like, hey, we are the swirl. And he was like, no, we're not. And I was like, yeah, so I did it to fuck with him. It was fun. But I do like the swirl. This is what I want out of tag teams, though. If I can't be like mad at the swirl, because I'm like, I want a team to get better and get together, and I want them to lose. And then I want them to gradually get better, and then maybe be in the tag team division or whatever. This is what I want. I want them to start off kind of like singles wrestlers and get better. So I like seeing the swirl there. I think they have potential. I do want to see more tag team moves out of them. It's like when you're that kind of size, I want to see.
Yeah, there needs to be more. There needs to be more like
Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like you got to come up with some cool combination moves, and that's what'll get to even as bad guys, because those cool combination moves that are getting you booed as bad guys will, if you ever flip the switch, will be super over as good guys. So there's more cohesiveness I want to see from them, but that's good as a team starting out together. This is where I want to see them. But, add a move here, add a move the next time, get gradually better, be the tag team that you can be.
Yep. I would love to see them improve more week by week. We then got 2 match announcements. Chris Statlander and Tony Storm for the Women's World Championship will be at WrestleDream. And then we also announced that Brodito will face off against Okada and Takeshita on Title Tuesday next week in Jacksonville, which, fuck yes. Fuck yes to this immediately. I'm hyped for that. And then we get into the main event, the mixed tornado tag match between the new AEW Women's World Champion Chris Statlander and Darby Allin facing Marina Shafir and Wheeler Yuta of the Death Riders. Darby just immediately flew in and just started throwing haymakers to start off this match, and they were fighting their way up through the crowd and everything like that. But eventually the Death Riders were able to fight their way through. Marina Shafir kind of pushes off Statlander onto the floor. Yuta's got Darby Allin inside the ring. Chairs are getting thrown in, everything like that. Superplex from Darby Allin to Yuta onto a pile of chairs was good. But the spot that everyone had their mind on immediately was when the tax came brought in, and that's when Wheeler Yuta gets suplexed onto the chairs, and that's when Marina Shafir from Chris Statlander, barefoot on attacks. Hated that shit. And then the best part I love too is when Yuta threw powder at Darby but missed and hit Marina Shafir, so she can't see, so she starts choking out fucking Wheeler Yuta, which is amazing. Statlander hits a 450 onto both of them, and then the coffin drop on to Yuta for the win. Tony Storm is on the ramp they kind of look towards each other and then start fighting each other as they get taken back to the back. Darby then gets outran by the Death Riders and Moxley, and Pac comes back as well, gets a spot in there. And Moxley's like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but for the first time in your life, I'm going to make you say I quit at WrestleDream. And that's when they do that, and then they close out the show. That was the 6th anniversary of AEW Dynamite. Overall, solid show. Really, really solid show. I felt like the biggest moments would definitely go to the trios match and the opening match of the show. And then I also say this match as well. There were some really good ones. And then again, we're already looking stacked next week for Title Tuesday too. So like that's the thing is like this was a really solid show with some great matches on it. But like when we get back to Jacksonville, they're about to get a banger of a show, I feel like.
Yeah, I want to say, when you talk about the show, vintage AEW, that's what I like. I feel like this was those AEW show that ever AEW'd. If you were like, if this was the first episode you ever watched, and you were like, okay, I didn't like this. Okay, you're not gonna like AEW. I hope, I hope you want to stay around, but like this was an AEW show, so it's like if you didn't like this, this might not be for you, kind of thing. So no, I really enjoyed this episode of the show. I thought it was just like it got the spirit and the heart. I liked the video where they showed Cody and
love that.
CM Punk and all.
Yeah, I think they got everybody in there. It doesn't matter what their background was or anything. Everyone got their bits.
I mean, because they are Cody is definitely part of the foundation of the company. CM Punk was very important to the company. So
yes,
they're like these people, or they showed the Jake Hager, inner circle thing.
Yeah.
So that's part of the company. Maybe
it just makes it so much like this. The thing is like. It's the thing. Everyone's not stupid. They know these people were here. They know that this happened. So you don't need to lie like it didn't happen. You know what I mean?
I hate
like even if you're not okay with it, like it's a thing that happened. Like let's not play stupid with our audience. I at least respect them for going down that route.
Yeah, revisionist history is stupid. So so I'm very happy that they did that. I very much love the show. And even the Mercedes thing, and it's just like she's gonna wrestle a person from Florida,
for her open challenge next week.
We'll go do the preview, and then when we do the kind of preview or whatever, actually I guess this is technically the preview.
Real quick, I'll just go through it. For Collision, that's gonna be coast to coast this Saturday at 7:00 Eastern. The Death Riders. Moxley, Daniel Garcia, and Claudio will face Jay Lethal, Adam Priest, and Tommy Billington. Sammy Guevara and Rush, the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, will be in action. We're going to have a face-to-face between Tony Storm and Chris Statlander. And then we're going to have Hechicero, Rocky Romero, and Lance Archer versus Paragon and Orange Cassidy in a trios match. And I believe that's everything that was announced for Collision as well, which obviously, like we just said, was taped as well.
So I mean, it's not going to be a shock which member of FTR wrestles the singles match.
Oh, and Eddie Kingston and Drew Listigo, and then Kevin Knight and the member of FTR.
So Kevin Knight is probably he's going to fight. I'm not going to even say it. It's the one that it always is.
Always the bald one.
Yes, it's always him. So so looking forward to that match. I love my Uncle Dak singles matches, so let's go. But, looking forward to Collision. It was recorded. I will not be watching it as it tapes. I will be probably on a train back from New York to Stanford to try to get to a sports bar in time to watch the Florida State game. So, unfortunately, I won't be watching that, live. I'll have it on my phone if I can, but I'll watch it Sunday because I think I pretty much have a whole day in New York with nothing to do on Sunday, so I'll definitely watch it then. But I am really looking forward to Collision. Make sure you check it out. But I did want to talk about Dynamite next week because I got two thoughts on the person from Florida for Mercedes.
What do we got?
One, Diamante. Only reason, she's Mrs. 305. Boom, boom. Miami. I mean, nobody kind of reps Florida in AEW like Diamante.
That is true.
That is, to me, kind of obvious. But I feel like you don't do a mystery opponent and not announce it if it's not going to be somebody big. And I've been calling you for it for a while. It's the homecoming. How about the OG, triple OG, the original women's person who lives in the state of Florida, Dr. Britt Baker.
Please, come on, man.
Okay, again, let me say this. I feel like I'm
she
90...
was also, let's not forget too, she was in the video package for the 6 years of Dynamite.
Yeah, I feel like there is a 99% chance it's not going to be her. I don't think there's a chance it's going to be her. I am hoping beyond hope that it is, but I am confident it's not going to be there. And I'm not going to even be disappointed if it's not, because it like I said, it's just like too many chances for her to come back already, and it hasn't happened. But if they do it, it'll be amazing. I do think I was talking to Chris Reigns on Instagram, and I was talking about Mercedes, how much I love Mercedes. And this actually came up on Twitter, and it was funny because it came up on Twitter after me and Chris had the conversation. I'm not saying anybody stole the idea. It was just a personal conversation, and it seems to be like a sentiment. Mercedes Moné's title reign is stale as fuck. And they need a challenger that people think can beat her. I think she needs a true feud. I'll say shout out to Ibu because it was on Twitter, but it was like we were having parallel thoughts, right? I was thinking having this conversation with Chris, and then I saw it come out on Twitter that he was like, oh, we've seen Mercedes have match of the month. Let's have her have a feud. And I agree. And I think the perfect person to have that feud with is Britt Baker. Some of the best feuds in the women's company, especially like Britt and Thunder, when it comes down to it. Even Britt and what is her? Cedric Alexander's wife, Big Swole. Yeah. So Britt's had some good rivalries. I'm like, and if you want to have 3 matches in the style of like, have a singles match, have a lights out match, have a blood match, nobody better to do that with than Britt Baker. And again, she's never coming back, she's never coming back. But I need Tony Khan as a fan. No backstage shit. As a fan, if she's never coming back, I need Tony Khan to just tell us she's never coming back. And then I can just move on.
So you can just kind of put it away, and you're like, you know what? I can move on
with my life and not care anymore. And I know there's a lot of people that have already moved on. They are way past Britt Baker. But if you looked at Twitter last night, there was a name trending. It's not just me that wants her back. It's not just a small portion that wants her back. There's a group of fans, the hardcores, the 6 years that want her back. I do know there's a group of people that never want to see her in the company again. You're allowed your opinion. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to even say you're wrong. I'm just going to say I don't agree. I want Britt back. Hopefully it happens. And honestly,
I echo this statement.
And I do want to say this, and because I said this before, and I didn't stick to it, but I am. She don't come back this week, I'm not bringing it up anymore. I feel like I'm just wasting time on the show talking about her, about a person that's basically not with the company anymore. In essence.
Yeah.
Not gonna stop me from wanting her back.
Yep.
It's just like I'm not gonna bang my head against a brick wall.
At this point, yeah. At this point, we just gotta get it out of our system, man. Come on.
Yeah. Gotta get it out of my system.
So, that is everything we got coming up for this week in this upcoming week in AEW. So now, Floyd, we can go ahead and we can run down our top 6 matches from the 6 years of AEW Dynamite that we have seen live.
Okay, so when you don't hear like, oh, you're like, how'd you leave Danielson and Hangman from
Winter's coming.
No. How did you leave Danielson and who am I thinking? Danielson
Omega.
and Omega from New York Grand Slam off. I wasn't there. I loved it. Probably think it's one of the best matches, if not the best match in Dynamite history. But that's not what this list is. It's a very specific list to get some deep cuts that you might not even remember that you saw.
For sure. Yep. How do you want to go about this? Do you want us to go from 6 downward and we each go like 6, 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 1, or do you want to just run down
that one? The 6, 6 up to 1. All right.
All right. So you can lead us off then.
So my 6th, and again, this is kind of a deep cut because shit, I had to start remembering.
First of all, let's count this before we even say this though. How many Dynamites have you been to and how many Dynamites have I been to?
I have been, well, hold on a second.
I can tell you right now, my number is much smaller than yours. I've been to 5 AEW Dynamites in my time period, and you wouldn't believe it, a majority of them were in Detroit or Chicago. Yeah. I went to the Blood and Guts 2022 show, the first show they did in Detroit at LCA. I then went to the next LCA show in 2023, October, where they had that at LCA. Probably one of my favorite Dynamites of all time, honestly. I then went to the go-home show for Forbidden Door at the Wintrust Arena in Chicago. I then went to the Masonic Temple show in Detroit this year, back in, I believe it was in May. And then my most recent Dynamite was from August of this year, where I was at the Wolfstein Center in Cleveland seeing Dynamite. So those are my 5. I've been to only 5 Dynamites. Floyd, however, yourself.
Okay, 25.
25 compared to 5.
Yes.
Floyd had a much bigger pool of matches to sift through.
I have been through 25 Dynamites, and if I counted correctly, in 10 different states and 2 different countries.
So there you go. Now that'll at least give you an idea of when I give you my top 6 and Floyd gives you his top 6.
Yes.
So Floyd, you can lead us off though.
All right. My 6th is I did not. I accidentally the date got copied off of this one, but it was FTR versus the Acclaimed for the AEW World Tag Team titles in Cedar Park, Texas. This is when FTR had all the belts. And they had started losing all the belts or whatever. They had a big match with the Acclaimed in Cedar Park, and the Acclaimed won. I went down to Cedar Park because I knew the match was happening. Had an amazing time. But if you remember, it was just like there were so many false finishes. They had me standing up in the aisle. I went to the match knowing FTR was going to lose, and they still got me up and excited about the match. And FTR lost to the Acclaim in that match.
All right. My number 6 match would be the Double Jeopardy match between Claudio Castagnoli and Rey Fenix. This match was fucking sick. Like, it was such a good match. It was the opening match of the show, and it opened up the show with a bang, having 2 guys that are incredibly good wrestlers just go head-to-head with one another. And this was after, like, relatively close to, I think a couple of months after Claudio debuted in AEW. So being able to see him go up against one of AEW's, at the time, best wrestlers in Fenix was amazing to see. I think Meltzer gave this one 4.5, and I enjoyed it a lot. It's a really, really strong match, and it was a great opening to Dynamite. It was the great opening to a Dynamite that I still feel like is one of the best in the show's history.
Yes. No, yes. I could see that. Definitely.
All right, number 5 for you, Floyd.
Number 5 for me happened in my home state of Tulsa, Oklahoma. AEW Dynamite, February 21st, 2024 at the Big OK Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was the Blackpool Combat Club tag team of Mox and Claudio, and they wrestled FTR to a 20-minute draw. And no, this is not going to be all FTR list. Honestly, when I originally did this, I didn't even think FTR was going to be on the list. But I started, when I was going through my last 3 and looking through, I distinctly remember these matches. So, they wrestled to a 20-minute draw. It was so physical. Mox Mox and Claudio. This was before their match at Revolution where Mox and Claudio just won. But yeah, they had very much a Road Warriors type feel. FTR's wrestling their style, super physical. I believe Dax might have got busted open in the match at some point, and maybe Mox. But yeah, it was in my home state. Very fun. I actually got to see my boys there. And the most important thing about that match is they announced it like a day before the show. Like, as far as I knew, I was just going to Tulsa and watching a match. And like, this match was on Wednesday, and they announced it like Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and I was like over the moon that I would get to see it.
Yeah, that's a great selection, honestly. My number 5 was from my most recent Dynamite I went to. It was the main event. It was MJF versus Mark Briscoe. This feud was really starting to get heated up at this point in time. And honestly, I thought going into it, I was like, this match probably could have been a street fight. And even though that it wasn't, it was so good. I loved the crowd's reaction to this as well. And I loved having MJF basically being in there and getting Mark busted open from the mouth for a good point of the match too. The fake out with the referee I thought was really well done as well. And he missed it. And then afterwards we had the brawl with the Dynamite Diamond Ring, and then Hangman comes in there to set up that. It was just a really strong match. I liked MJF basically being able to steal the win without keeping the feud going. And it was MJF, Mark Briscoe, low key, really like deadly feud. Like, it's such a really good feud. I feel like it's one of those ones that I think can hopefully stick around as one that people remember for a while, because I thought MJF and Mark did amazing stuff in that match and in the feud overall. But this was a show that we literally were like, we weren't going to go to Dynamite, and then we were like doing a Hall of Fame trip to go to the Rock and Roll and the Pro Football Hall of Fames in Ohio. And we're like, well, Dynamite's happening right now anyway. Let's just go to Dynamite in Cleveland. And we went there and we saw some amazing matches at that show. This is one of them.
All right. And look, we're four matches in, 2 selections apiece in. Neither one of us was at each other's show. So nope. That's why the list is like this. So you could get more of a variety, and then us just saying the same 5 matches. My number 4, Cody versus the newly returned Andrade, AEW Dynamite, episode 113. I don't know why I knew that, put that number in the notes. It was on December 1st, 2021. It was, it was Tiffany's 40th birthday. So Cody and Andrade, it's the match where Cody went through the flaming table and beat Andrade. We were second row, but we kind of moved up to the first row. Tiffany was sitting next to T-Pain, and Cody came up.
What?
Yes, and Tiffany cut off T-Pain to get her hug from Cody. And I remember that specifically because that was hilarious. But that match was fun. We got fired. You get a flaming table. You get a flaming table by watching a match next to T-Pain. That's gonna make the fucking list every time. Yeah. So it was a good time. Yes.
Hell yeah. My next one was a trios match, and this one took place at the Masonic Temple show in Detroit. Floyd was sitting right next to us for this.
I was there for this one.
Yes, the 6-man tag between Ricochet and the Young Bucks versus Mark Briscoe, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Swerve Strickland. This shit was fun. This was a fun match, and even though I got butt hurt because the Bucks got the win, it was so fun. Like, all these guys got great stuff in there. Getting to be able to see Swerve that up close was awesome. And just, man, it was high action, fast paced. The team of Ricochet and the Young Bucks, I need to see that more because they just worked so well together. I just need to see them be able to do more matches together. And yeah, this to me was the best match of the entire Masonic Temple show. My still favorite part of that show overall was the opening promo with Hangman and Will Ospreay. But even still, this match was sick as hell. This would be my number 4.
I remember that match, and that was a very fun match. It did not make my list, but once you hear about the three that I got, I think you'll understand.
I think I'll understand. I'll understand.
Valentine's Day 2024. And this is a person nobody would expect to be on my list. Orange Cassidy beats Matt Taven in a Texas death match.
Ooh.
That match was fucking awesome. Like, it was like, I remember Taven was talking so much shit on Twitter. He's like, you doubt me? And yeah, he fucking killed it. Matt Taven beat FTR on my list. Matt Taven beat FTR on my list. Because that's how much that match was a fucking banger. February 14th, 24. I don't remember where it was at. Let me see. I'm going to do a quick search. It was in it was the Winter's Coming. It was the Winter's Coming shows. No, that's not a Winter's Coming show. Okay, there it is. Cedar Park, Texas. Mox actually wrestled Dax on that same show. Young Bucks wrestled Top Flight, but Matt Taven versus OC in the Texas Death Match was amazing. That was actually the first day I actually got a photo op with the one and only Willow Nightingale. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Literally went to that show for that reason. They announced
a badass match.
Yeah. They announced Willow. I had heard Willow was gonna be that. I literally bought tickets the day before, drove to Texas so I could see Willow, and then I saw a badass match.
Damn straight. My number 3, I'll tell you right now, my top 3, all of them got 4 3/4 stars. So nearly all these matches were rated 5-star by Mr. Dave Meltzer, if that matters to you whatsoever. My number 3, we go back to the Cleveland show from this past August. It was the AEW World Tag Team Title Eliminator Tournament semifinal match between Brodito and the Young Bucks. I did not see this outcome coming, with Brodito upsetting the Young Bucks to move on. This was leading towards them becoming the new AEW Tag Team Champions. This was 20 minutes of just nonstop fucking badass action. Brody is still one of my favorites in AEW. Bandito has, in a short period of time, immediately won me over. I didn't think I was going to be so into Bandito like I am right now, but him and Brody have been such a great tag team, and he is just, his aura and the matches that Bandito has had this year alone, like, he's a fucking warrior, and it's been awesome to see. And Brody and Bandito going up against the Bucks just blew me away, man. This was such a fun match to be a part of, and was just fucking sick. If we're just talking straight matches without gimmicks, this was the best match that I saw live at Dynamite. Like, this match was wild.
That was an effing amazing match. Definitely glad that that made a list. If I was there, it would have been, the match.
Yeah.
All right. This is this next one. Number 2 on my list. Could have been number 1, but it wasn't. AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite. December 15th, 2021. It was a Winter's Coming, but I didn't have it in the notes. It was Bryan Danielson versus Hangman in a 1-hour draw.
There it is.
I was first row with Crystal. That was her first AEW show. And yeah, actually, that was the last meet and greet I ever did with Cody as a member of the AEW roster.
Wow.
He wasn't with the AEW, 2 months later? 2 months later. So, we were front row for that show. It was literally 2 weeks after the Dynamite after the Cody versus Andrade match. Danielson Hangman went for an hour. Crystal, my wife, who does not care a ton about wrestling, said it was the best match she had ever seen. She was completely blown away. She had never sat that close before, so we got all these amazing pictures from the show. Danielson and Hangman just just so beautiful. It was like I've never been a Hangman guy. I was absolutely a Hangman guy that night. It's just such a good match. It was just so good. It's like one of those matches. There's no winner. I'm a big results person, but I could watch that match. I could sit and watch that match the whole hour right now. No problem.
For sure. We'll go into my number 2 match. And my number 2, it's very simple. It's for the first AEW Dynamite I ever attended, the first ever AEW Dynamite in Detroit, and it was built for this match. Like, honestly, there's very little I actually remember from the actual show except for this one match. That was Blood and Guts. Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio, Moxley, Yuta, Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz versus the Jericho Appreciation Society, Angelo Parker, Chris Jericho, Daniel Garcia, Jake Hager, Matt Menard, and Sammy Guevara. It was a Blood and Guts match. Shit was fucking nuts.
You know what I remember about that show? That was the first time my boss ever told me no as far as for a day off. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember that, no.
I was supposed to come watch that show with you.
Man.
And it was because I always said if it was a show in Detroit, I was going to come. And it was Blood and Guts. And that was the first time my boss ever told me no. And that match was amazing. So fun.
Dude.
And Blood and Guts is one of those things for me. There's no such thing as a bad Blood and Guts match in my mind. So
no.
But
dude, it was so much fun. Even though, like, from where we were sitting, we didn't necessarily get the best view. Like, when Sammy got thrown off by Eddie, we were kind of a ways away from it when it happened. Like, we were on the opposite end of the cage that they did it on. It would have been nice if we got kind of more, like, closer to, like, you know, where you would sit for hard cam, because we'd be able to see everything a lot better. But we were on the floor for it. It was still crazy cool just to look up and see the cage like that. Bro, it was madness, absolute insanity for this. Wasn't this the second Blood and Guts match that ever happened?
I believe it was the second one.
Yes, so just being able to be there, and this being the first match, the first main event match we had for Detroit, this became the point where I realized that Tony Khan has a soft spot for Detroit because he gives us some fucking good shows. Like, Detroit has consistently gotten fucking damn good shows. Like, really, really fucking good shows.
But y'all are always an amazing crowd, and I think he definitely rewards that.
Yes, now give us the fucking pay-per-view.
I mean, give us a fucking pay-per-view.
Yes, but yes, Blood and Guts, Blackpool Combat Club versus the Jericho Appreciation Society. Stellar stuff, just badass. Being at a Blood and Guts match in person just makes it that much better.
Yes, absolutely. Number 1. This is the big one as we get to the wrapping up of this show. Number 1 for me it was not the first Dynamite I went to, because I went to the first Dynamite, but it was the Dynamite. It was like one of the last Dynamites before COVID. It was the last Dynamite before COVID. Dynamite Kansas City. It was a few days before Revolution. Pac versus Omega. 30-minute Iron Man match. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's number 1. First of all, the reason it beats out Hangman and Bryan Danielson is because there was a winner.
It wasn't a draw.
Yeah, it wasn't a draw, but it was an Iron Man match. Omega pulled it out. I truly believe I saw, like, the Dynamite had just started in October. I think this is the first 5-star AEW Dynamite match and the first truly great AEW Dynamite match. For that, it was number 1. I also remember the night Tiffany got called in the ring and she pinned Brandon Cutler.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
At the end of the show. So, this is one of those, like, if I have Alzheimer's or dementia one day, I'm going to, my body's going to transport me to there, and I'm going to be like, dude, I'm going to be watching that match because there was such it's in that definitive, what does AEW mean to you? It was like, you got that match. It was on a Dynamite 5 days before a pay-per-view. Like, it changed the way you thought about it, what a go-home show was, right? because it was like, oh, this match, oh, nothing's going to happen. You're not going to get anything big. It's the go-home show before a pay-per-view. No, you got one of the best matches in Dynamite history on a go-home show.
Fuck yeah, absolutely. And then we get to my number one match, and it's from my favorite AEW Dynamite I've ever attended. It's from the second show that ever took place at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit on October 5th, 2023. It's the main event of this show. It's the steel cage match between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega. Such a fucking great match. This had all the hype around it and such great moments. The V-trigger through the cage is still one of the most iconic moments of AEW Dynamite, as well as being followed up with the heel turn of Don Callis stabbing the screwdriver in Kenny Omega's head. Moxley gets the win. Like, everyone was blown away by it. It was so fucking badass, so physical, so violent, and it created one of the biggest heels in the company. Like, it's just, dude, I was so excited for this show, like, that we were getting this match. I mean, we had a international title match between Orange Cassidy and Daniel Garcia, the Fenix Claudio double Jeopardy match I just mentioned, like a House of Black open house match that was on this match as well. No holds barred match between Julia and Anna Jay. Like, there was so much shit on this show. It was crazy. But the steel cage match is what everybody in the building was there for, and it delivered 1,000%. Even though it wasn't even that long of a match, it still felt like it tore everything out of those two guys. Moxley Omega steel cage match. It's my favorite match I've seen at Dynamite Live.
An honorable mention is another Moxley Omega match, because I was at the first ever Winter is Coming in Jacksonville where Kenny Omega beat Mox for the world title. Now, that was always on my list, but I honestly didn't think the match was that great. It was just the fact that it was the first time the world title changed on a Dynamite. It's definitely in my honorable mentions, but yeah, it's like the top of my honorable mentions. It would be 6. It could easily be a higher number or whatever if I would have thought of it. But yeah, I just it's kind of cool how many great moments we were at.
Yeah.
Yours was
another
Detroit.
Moxley match. Yeah. Another Moxley match that would be in my honorable mentions would be Moxley versus Speedball Mike Bailey from the Cleveland show. That match was also damn good.
See, there you go. And we could do this all day, because to me, AEW Dynamite might be the best pro wrestling show, live pro wrestling show in wrestling history. I don't know where it ranks for me. I don't know where it ranks for you. We're gonna.
I consistently have my favorite for TV shows. Obviously, pay-per-views are a different beast altogether. But when it comes to TV wrestling shows, I have the best time at a live wrestling show when I'm there for AEW Dynamite. Like, no question about it. Nothing comes close. Like, I've been to a Monday Night Raw. I actually don't believe I've been to a SmackDown, but I consistently have the best time when I go to AEW Dynamite. I just feel like I'm with my people. I feel like I'm in my world. Everything feels right. I'm hoping I get to go to more, because I know Floyd's got me beat by 20 times, like, with the amount of shows that he's gone to. So I'm hoping we get to do some more Dynamites as well. We need to get some more shows in Detroit. I know we just had one this year, but we need more. But I'm still very grateful for the matches that I've gotten to see from Dynamite in the 6 years that the company has existed.
Yes, and I look forward to many more. My next Dynamite is in roughly 2 weeks in Kansas City. So
boom.
That'll be 26. And I'm excited for that. But when I post it, if you listen to the show, when I post it, go find the post of the show, reply with your favorite AEW Dynamite match. It doesn't matter if you've seen it live or whatever. Like I said, I put the restriction in there so we could get more matches. And because of that, we got 12 unique matches between the two of us. So that's some that you might have forgot about. So, hey, if you're listening, go on and reply with the match that you like. And, yeah, we definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely. I think that's going to do it, though, for this episode of All Things Elite, guys. We appreciate you joining in and listening to this show. This show's been going on since AEW was announced, so we've been going for 6 years. So we appreciate the support throughout all this. If you guys enjoy the show, Please continue to download it on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening to us on. We appreciate the support. Share us around with your friends, family, coworkers, who you wish. Rate, review, and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And follow us on Twitter at ATElitePod. You can also follow at Social Suplex, who make this show possible, and check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Sumowicz, SZUMOWICZ, and Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. Go to Chop Tees, get yourself a t-shirt, and be sure to sign up for the Social Suplex newsletter. Link is in the description of this show. And I'll pass it off to Floyd so he can take us home. Yes. This episode of All Things Elite.
Yep, 6 years has been a great ride. Shout out to AEW. Shout out to the Elite, the founding fathers. Shout out to, of course, Tony Khan. How do I leave him out of the list? Chris Jericho, Jim Ross, all the people there at the beginning. We definitely appreciate it. The show doesn't exist without you existing. So we definitely appreciate that. And I'll just do this. I will leave you how I always leave you. Whether it's home, work, or school, always do your best to be elite.